Life is a game when you understand the universal key that unlocks the truths of our reality. Now, 98% of people go through life becoming a victim to a reality they create subconsciously. So over the course of this video, I'm going to teach you how you can outsmart the game of reality. How you can unlock a simple truth that is like a universal key to any experience you will have in life, and it will be the tool that you use to create the reality of your dreams. Now, before we get into that, I need to teach you about some simple core principles that will help you understand the nature of reality itself, the fabric of how our physical experience was created, and how you can use it to your advantage in your day-to-day life. So, let's talk about how you can outsmart the game of reality. You are going to be coming up against the forces of nature, the forces of God, the forces of realms that are not physical, an energetic spectrum of polarity that creates the reality we experience. This is why we have symbolism throughout the course of time like the yin and the yang. Because life is governed off of positive and negative charges, right? But there's a secret about this principle that allows some of the greatest minds of all time to transcend these planes and create reality in a way that people believe to be mystical. But the truth is that we were given a gift. We were given the ability to consciously create. When we become aware of the universe and its laws, and we become aware that we are in fact a part of this fabric of reality, that we are not some stagnant physical being, but we are a lucid force of energy and motion throughout the course of experience itself, we can start to use these fundamental secrets to create a life worth living. We are only here for the blink of an eye. So instead of spending the rest of your life on the couch watching YouTube, wondering what if, I'm going to teach you how you can go out into the world and start to manifest a better life for yourself. The truth is before you understand these tools, you are going to experience polarity. You're going to feel like you're stuck in place, that these negative emotions control you, that you are a victim to your own experience, that you have no control, you have no ability to manifest. And you're going to be on this karmic wheel of back and forth, right? So there's going to be some days where you wake up and you're like, you know what? I want to be better. So you're going to move in a positive direction for yourself. But then those negative thoughts are going to creep in and they're going to pull you in the opposite direction. And then you're going to be like, you know what? I can do better than that. I'm better than that. You know what? I'm not going to smoke that weed. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to text my ex. You move more in a positive direction. But then it seems to fight back even harder and you're pulled even stronger in that negative direction. And you seem to be in this state of paralysis, this back and forth, this limbo where you're not able to create for yourself. That's because you are unconscious. You are unaware of how this universal key impacts the reality. We're going to talk about how you can enter this flow state, the state of being where everything is effortless. Your life becomes a creation of your own imagination. You take these positive and these negative things in your life and you're able to overcome this back and forth and you start to experience life itself. You're going to start to experience motion. What is emotion? It is energy in motion. We know that the universe has polar spectrums of energy. Let's draw this out. We know that in order for us to have this experience, there needs to be balanced forces. The yin needs to equal the yang. The good needs to equal the bad. God needs to have the devil. Because without the polarity, we would have no ability to interpret this experience. Because if all things were good, then we'd be in this permanent state of euphoria and there would be no progress. We would not be able to grow and evolve into a more evolved species, a more evolved state of consciousness. And that is why some of the greats throughout all time talk about, we are here to know thyself. Because fundamentally, on a core level, we need to understand that we are one with creation itself, that we are no different than these things we see in the external world. That is the thing we are here to learn, is that you are no separate than the experience you have on the outside. It is actually the same experience, that the good and the bad are the same thing. You're merely here to learn, to transcend, to overcome. Now, odds are, if you're watching this video and you want to manifest more for your life, you're not in a place you want to be. So you may be right here, you may be right here, you may be down bad. Or you may be getting better. But we all know that we want to be up here. This is where life is good. This is why it feels like you have a weight on your shoulder when things are not going your way. Because you are going to move into a more physical state of matter. That is why it feels heavy. But as you climb in energy, you start to experience the spectrum of energy, where you transcend into levels of frequency that are beyond the physical state. Now, in high school physics, we learned this, that physical matter has an energy wave that is very long, that these ups and downs are long, they're drawn out, they're slow. But as we climb in frequency, energy moves like that. So actually, physical matter is just a more dense state of energy, and that the things beyond this realm are of higher frequency. And that is why we have this graph right here. Because this graph is the spectrum of consciousness. This is very similar to what I just drew over here, but it is broken down in the spectrum of human emotions that we experience, right? We want to live a fulfilling life, and the truth is we just want freedom. We want the ability to experience the life we want. We don't want people to tell us what to do, who we have to be. We want to connect with our true selves. We want to unlock our highest selves. We want to manifest that version of ourselves that we know exists. But if you're in a state of shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, you are on this slow path of energy. But if you're experiencing love, joy, peace, enlightenment, and actually one of the highest frequencies in the universe, which is authenticity, you start to resonate at that crazy paced frequency. Now, what's the secret behind this when it comes to manifesting what we want for ourselves? Now, you can look at this a variety of ways. If you are in a slow physical state of matter, you are going to be experiencing that back and forth, that polar nature on a longer spectrum of time. You're not going to be able to overcome the good, overcome the bad as quickly as you will when you're at a grander state of being, right? Because if you're in a state of love and joy, you're like, okay, I got hit by a car, or hopefully you didn't get hit by the car. Let's say you got in a little fender bender. It's not going to be that big of a deal. You're going to move through that wave quicker. That's the secret, is that you start to go through more of life's experiences at a quicker pace because you're resonating at a higher frequency. Let's move on to something that will help you better understand how you can overcome this back and forth polarity, and something that will allow you to unlock your power as a creator further. So I always like to listen to Matthew McConaughey, because in his podcast, he's really down to earth. This man has got it figured out, so no wonder he's gotten so far in life. But there's this thing that he says, and he says, you have 2 to look and 1 to see. That's what this is right here. 2 to look, 1 to see. Now, what does that mean? When things happen to us in life, we need to look at them from this point of view, from this point of view, in order to make the most elevated decision. That is why a pyramid and the Holy Trinity is such a religious symbol. Because we have the ability to overcome the negativity. Why do you think they put the all-seeing eye in the pyramid? Because it's about your ability to transcend the polar nature of the physical realm, the yin, the yang, the good, the bad, the thing that keeps you in place, and make the transcended decision. Because what is your highest self? It is a more ascended, a more evolved, a more capable version of yourself that resonates at a higher frequency with the ability to manifest reality. But the truth is you're manifesting reality because you're at peace with it, because you have love for it regardless of what it throws your way. And the fact you're resonating at a higher frequency, you start to attract things of that coherence, right? So if you want a life partner that is going to be loving, that is going to be down to earth, that is going to be grounded, that is going to be a great mother, a great father, You have to become that version because the physical world will show you the mirror. The physical world is the mirror. That's why in the Bible, Jesus says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and the rest will follow." That means that we can change our state of awareness to be in the state of heaven. Why do you think it's called the kingdom? Kingdom of heaven. Because all the stories are metaphors about our power as a creator. You ever heard the story of Solomon's temple? It is the library with all the knowledge. But guess what? The soul of Man's temple is actually a metaphor for our brain and what happens when both our left hemisphere and our right hemisphere come in coherence. Right? We have the sun and the moon. In Latin, sol is sun, mon is moon. And then the temple. Why do you think they call this our temple? Because the temple is where we channel the higher frequencies of a higher intelligence. That's what the pineal gland is for. The fact is that all these stories, all these parables, all these metaphors are here to teach you about yourself so you can know thyself, so that you can know you have the ability to transcend all things that come your way, so you can know that you are here to learn lessons, and then these challenges thrown your way aren't to make you a victim, aren't to sit on you heavy. They're here to teach you. They're help you evolve. You are contributing to the grander spectrum of consciousness's evolution because you have the ability to overcome new, unique challenges that are thrown your way because you are one of one, having a one-of-one experience. This is why they say things like, what you seek is seeking you. Because the physical reality is a mirror. In quantum physics, the electron cloud is 98% energy. And there's something called the observer effect. Meaning that the particle of the electron does not populate in physical reality until there is an observer to observe it, which means that you need to be consciously aware in order to create a reality, or there needs to be an observer to create that reality. So this is how it applies to manifestation. If you are going through life unconscious, reality and all the negative things that are coming with it are happening to you. But if you are conscious, you know that the inputs through your thoughts, emotions, beliefs are actually impacting reality. This is why they call it awareness, because you are aware of the fact that you are creating reality. You are aware of the fact that you are not where you want to be. This is why in the Bible or in a lot of religious texts, the words I am are so important, is because I am signifies a state of awareness. Now, when we decide what we stitch to the sentence of I am, that is how we bring something into physical reality. I am so grateful that I have the opportunity to film this video for you. I'm so grateful that I had the funds to invest in technology that allows me to have fun. I am so grateful for the dark things that happened in my life, so I was able to find this wisdom and have the courage to share it with you on the internet. Or, I'm a victim. I'm not going to do anything. I'm so upset that she cheated on me. You see how that state of awareness is actually impacting your reality because you're consciously creating it. That's the secret behind the electron cloud, is that the quantum field is 98% energy. It is infinite potentiality. It is waiting to be manifested through your act of creation. This is why when you're going through life unconsciously, you're going to think reality is happening to you. You're a victim to that experience. But when you become aware, you increase your frequency of understanding and awareness and of these principles that govern the universe, you start to change reality. Because the secret is if you hold a frequency long enough, coming back over to this graph, if you hold a higher level frequency up here long enough, reality is going to have no choice but to show it to you. That's just how it works. Because with our mind and our heart, thoughts are things we send into the quantum, the electron cloud, whatever you want to call it, the quantum field. And emotions are frequencies we electromagnetically draw back. So our biology works in a way where our thoughts create emotions because our thoughts signify to different hormone receptors in our body to release chemicals. These chemicals make us feel a certain thing. When we feel that certain thing that we felt before, a common feeling, then we are going to create that reality for ourselves again associated with that thought. If you've ever lost someone you love or you've been cheated on, you know that feeling. So when you feel that feeling, those thoughts come back. And then you end up in that perpetual loop. That's the thing we want to avoid. That's what they talk about, the karmic loop. But what did I just educate you throughout the course of this video? Is that it's about your ability to use the two eyes to look and the one to see. That you could ride this roller coaster, or you can just see the patterns that, hey, you know what? I remember that video Grant posted, and there seemed to be a lot of duality in that, as if there were a concept called the duality of man. What is the duality of man? It is our devil, our lowest self, versus our highest self. But this is the spectrum we're always fighting on. This is that back and forth game we play. That's exactly what I talked about over here. The duality of man. Look it. This is my highest self. This is my lowest self. This is my lowest self. This is my highest self. Are you starting to see the patterns? This is the secret. Because when you understand patterns, you start to realize, hey, this has happened before in my life. I'm going to be able to overcome this. That confidence allows you to transcend in a level of frequency because you have certainty that you've been here before and you have confidence in yourself to see it through. The reason I bring this up is because all the gods, all the heavens, all the hells are within you. This is what they mean when they say, we are a microcosm to the macrocosm. You are not some pointless drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in the drop. That's the secret, is that when you start to see the synchronicities, when you start to see the patterns, when you start to see the angel numbers, it is nothing to be afraid of. It is nothing to send you running in the other direction. You start to realize that you are one with creation, that you embody the same principles of everything we see on the external world, that actually the external world is to be tools to serve you to better understand yourself. Because I don't believe this life is about ascension. I don't believe it's about our ability to climb a ladder to one day maybe sit on a throne. Life would be so lonely if we chased that crown. Life would be so lonely. But what are we here to do? It's about incension versus ascension. Because ascension is an external thing. Incension is an internal one. Now, I don't know how I came up with that or where I got it, but this is the truth. Because I've been through so much in life. I've lost a business. I've almost lost family members to suicide. I've been $80,000 in debt. And it was never about the ladder or my ability to pursue the throne, my spiritual awakenings. It was not about my ability to be better than anyone. It was not about the fact that I was able to tap into a higher level of knowledge. No, we all share that right. And the funny thing is all the dark things I went through, I was able to share with others because I was being authentic. Because I realized that the human condition is the thing we share. And that when you have the ability to see these patterns, you start to elevate. You start to transcend beyond the physical plane and start to enter the realms of greater power. Because you can be trusted. Because you are not acting in service of yourself. Because the self is only 1% of this experience. Do not forget that. The other 99% is the all. So when you're on the streets and you see homeless people, know they are one and the same. You are actually seeing yourself out there. And then when you start to use these tools to overcome the things that happen in your day-to-day life, you can start to use this to transcend and to unlock grander powers within this universe because you are serving the all. I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to sell by making a video like this. I am just choosing to sit down and share a story that means something to me, and hopefully it means something to you. So, if you want to outsmart the game of reality, you need to realize 3 things. 1, the nature of reality itself is polar in the physical plane. That is how we have a physical experience. There needs to be balance of forces for us to learn, for us to grow, for us to have this experience. Now, when you start to experience that polarity in your everyday life, you start to feel the weight of the negative things that you go through, or you start to feel yourself rising out of your body and tapping into a higher energy. Realize that that is going to be fluctuating because life is about energy. Emotions is energy in motion. So everything is a wave. Everything is fluctuating. But this is why God was touching Adam in the Sistine Chapel. Because we are connected to a higher truth. And the truth is that we can look at things from the dark perspective. We can look at things from the light perspective. And we can climb in levels of awareness and make the proper choice for the reality we want to create. But we can only do that when we are conscious. When we are conscious of these tools, when we are conscious of the laws of nature itself. And number 3, you are not a pointless drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. You share the traits of the universe itself. You share the traits of creation itself. Let that power rise within you. Serve the world. Don't serve yourself because that's lonely. And with great power comes great responsibility. So I challenge you that if you start to apply these things into your own life, do it for the greater good of the world around you. Do it because you have a little love to give, because this place needs it. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe, and I'm just getting started. So I will definitely see you in the next one.